do it fundamentally on their tests because they will work people who are so colleges that you are motivated to do that, which have good grades. Good grades. The issue of increased stress among high schoolers is fairly recent. A study
In recent years, two major causes of stress for teens are grades and the college admissions process. Both are tedious and oftentimes unfair. How far should a student aiming to attend a top-tier school go? Stress, worrying about the SAT and ACT, competing with other students. College is important, but is it really worth the detrimental effect it may have on your physical and mental health? How can we lessen the stress students feel regarding the two? Students in Palo Alto are committing suicide because of the extremely stressful conditions they are under. They feel the need to perform well to be considered good enough in front of their peers and family. It is so competitive that some students only accept A's and would consider anything lower as a failure.
As an educator, of course, you want your students to be able to get good grades, assuming that those good grades are tied with understanding of the course content. So yes, you want to have students who are engaged in their learning and they're getting full learning out of the course experience. So with that in mind, yes, I think it's a good idea to have quote-unquote good grades.
They are what decides how you succeed later on in life, as in like what colleges you go to, and I think if you stay motivated to get good grades in high school, it'll really help you in college and like keeping that focus and not procrastinating and screwing your life up.
As a general consensus, getting good grades is necessary because it shows colleges that you are motivated to do well and have good learning skills. Good grades should come naturally with the student's understanding of the course content being taught. Schools are trying to lessen the stress students feel about grades.
Palo Alto high schools have recently tried to ease the stress of students by implementing policies such as homework-free breaks and teachers allowing for students flexibility on projects and tests.
While choosing the right college is important, right now the college admissions process is way too long a process and far more stressful than it should be.
The issue of increased stress among high schoolers is a fairly recent one. A study done in 1986 found that just one of the causes of stress in teens' lives was extreme pressure to perform. However, all the other reasons teens felt stress were unrelated to academics or getting into college.
Having to deal with schoolwork and extracurriculars and still coming home and like doing chores and then still finding time to like get enough sleep and then doing college apps, it was super stressful.
I see a lot of differences between my application, process and what it is now. I didn't apply to as many schools as I think a lot of seniors are applying to now. I think I applied to maybe like 5 tops.
The issue we are addressing was not as important then as it is today. This shows that the college process has gotten much more stressful in very recent years. Stress levels in teens has risen significantly, as well as the toughness of college acceptance.
I think college applications in general is pretty stressful, but it's increased because there's a lot of emphasis on getting into the good school.
Yeah.
And good school meaning like the top brand names, and so there's a lot of competition there because those are highly selective schools.
I think there's a lot of pressure to get kids to get into all the top tier schools, when in fact a lot of the other schools are great choices for them.
There's so many negative connotations associated with going to a community college or like a bad college, so there's a lot of pressure both socially and like from parents and just personally too.
It's definitely about finding the right fit, and maybe that happens to be a school that's got a popular name, maybe it doesn't. But if you end up going to one of those schools and you find that it's not the best fit, you're miserable there, then what's the point, right?
A student should go to a school that is going to prepare them for their future career and that can provide them the proper support they need. Those are the really important things to consider with colleges, not how famous or the brand name of the school. Applying to a school that fits your needs should not be too stressful. You should have about the right skill set that they are looking for.
I think the SAT and the ACT are fundamentally unfair tests because they reward people who are willing to spend the time and money to prepare for them, while hurting the people who can't.
No, filling in bubbles does not measure my intelligence.
But grades and SAT or ACT scores, they're just one way to measure intelligence or college readiness for students, but it's by means not the only way.
The SAT and ACT can be very stressful if the student is not prepared or if they are bad at test taking. There are still many options for these students.
It's a good idea to check out schools that also have test optional policies, or those who actually don't even look at tests at all, because they're realizing that there are other ways that students are going to be able to contribute to the campus community and being a future alum of the school, other than like the score they got in their SAT or the ACT or their GPA. Specifically, adhering to some of the timelines that you see, like that your counselors might give you per year, making sure that you're on track so that when it comes to senior year, there aren't a bunch of things that you haven't done yet that you feel even more stress or pressure to get done while you're in the midst of your college applications. Using, summer to have fun and to de-stress, but then also just a little bit of time here and there to get some things out of the way. So maybe you think about what you want to write for your personal statements if you decide to apply to schools that require them. Taking a look at the colleges as your junior year, I think is a good time to just start exploring the colleges that are out there, going to see them in person on campus visits. So you can narrow down your choices and then know what's expected of you. And then preparing for your entrance exams if you need them, so SAT and ACT. So like I said before, just breaking it down into smaller chunks so that it's not all at once you're trying to get things together.